Good evening, guys. Welcome to episode 32 of the vlog. Here we are for a back-to-back commute home session. Again, trying to fit a lot of things in one day. So we're using the commute to be as productive as possible. If you can call this productive, I think I can. So anyhow, heading home from Jiu-Jitsu practice. It's Thursday night here on July 22nd, 2021. And Thursday nights are the no-gi submission wrestling evenings at Ivan Salivary MMA here in South Lake Union. And I posted a quick TikTok on my way in, just highlighting the fact that Thursday nights, oftentimes if I don't pack a bag ahead of time, or it's just this awkward timing between when I get done working, which is, right around like 4:30 or 5 is when things start winding down, for sure by 5:30 or 6, and practice doesn't start till 7. So often on these days, on Thursdays, I'll try and make an effort to get home on right after work and go pack a bag, hang for a bit, nap, BS with my lady until it's time to go to practice. And it's funny because these Thursdays are always those days where I'm contemplating. It's the end of the week. Maybe I've already trained once or twice. I lifted this morning, so I'm starting to feel like, do I really need it? But just kind of out of habit, this has always been an evening I've tried to prioritize, so it's kind of hard to break that habit, which is a good thing. I'm happy about that. I'm glad. And let's see, are we blocked off? I guess we'll find out if I'm able to get across the bridge. So not only are you getting jiu-jitsu talk as I'm on my way home, but also traffic updates here as I'm trying to cross the bridge on 520 in Seattle. Looks like I should be okay. We'll see if this guy's gonna let me squeeze in. So what I was saying was, these Thursday nights, thankfully habit kind of kicks in. I've usually tried to prioritize this night, as it's usually one of the better nights of the evening. There's just sort of a culture of, hey, Thursday nights being a good one, so people tend to show up. You get a good training room in there, get some good training partners. But definitely, I'm driving home and I'm getting, or post work, I'm driving back. I got to go pack my bag, and I'm like getting a little sleepy. I'm like, man, I could really use a nap. So, and this evening being one of them, I get home, hang, chill out for a bit, and I got 15 to 40 minutes, somewhere in that range usually, to grab a quick nap. knowing that I got to either set an alarm or ask my kind and loving wife to wake me up, and I'll grab 10 to 20 minutes of shut-eye and wake up from that nap and just have to pack my bag, and I'm sleepy and hungry and thinking it'd be way easier to just chill out and eat some dinner and pass out. But luckily, again, I think habit's taken over at this point. I'm glad, because I'm able to, now that I'm in sort of a routine with some of my fitness things, whether it's the weightlifting or the jiu-jitsu practices, now that it's in a bit of a rhythm and I can count on it, there's a lot less guilt when it comes to enjoying days off, right? Because I know I've put in the work, and I know it takes rest days for my body to grow and recover and all that stuff. And so and as far as jiu-jitsu goes, well, there's only so many good training days a week with full rooms of training partners. So if I capitalize on those, then I know, okay, well, there's no one really in Friday, or there's no one really in Sunday. I could hit a Saturday if I wanted. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm able to enjoy my weekends a lot more if I've gotten in that Thursday evening training session. So feeling good. Got tapped a bunch of times tonight, and sometimes, a couple times where I was just like, damn, did that really just happen? I got bonked in the eye, so that's going to be a nice shiner tomorrow. But I executed on some good things as well. Some things I've been practicing or trying to kind of learn the stuff I taught yesterday. I was able to hit on a guy who, again, is relatively new, so it's not like it's not like it's a move or technique I'm hitting on people that are at my same skill level or better. But you got to start somewhere. So all that being said, I think, man, it's weeks like this, or the last few weeks, and this project has been part of it. I'm feeling much more productive than I was a few months ago. A few months ago, for a period of a couple of months, I was feeling lethargic and unproductive and kind of like I was just either spinning my wheels or just getting stagnant, right? And I think what I've always enjoyed or felt fulfilled in is always having, different, goals that I'm striving for, different areas of myself that I feel like I'm working on. And it got to a point where I think I was just, getting complacent, and I was, feeling like I was starting to get a little out of shape, and there weren't necessarily any, intellectual or mental things that I was working on in my own time. And so over the course of the last few months, I've been, this is what it started with. What was I listening to? I was listening to a podcast. Yes. Okay. I was listening to Tim Grover, whose book I just listened to. And I think I've mentioned on a couple of, whether it be different little social media posts, I've mentioned that I was paying attention to this guy. So Tim Grover he was an athletic trainer, and he had a specific word for it because he was kind of a specialist. So no disrespect, Mr. Grover, nothing but respect for you and your craft. But I don't remember the exact terminology he used, but it was something along the lines of he was an athletic trainer, performance coach, something along those lines. And he, right out of school, worked his way into being a personal, athletic trainer, performance trainer for Michael Jordan, right? So he was also from Chicago. He, I think, played in a similar, high school league as Jordan back in the day. And so when Jordan went to the league, he knew that this was a guy, or it doesn't matter. Listen to the book if you want to kind of learn a little bit more about his story. It's an incredible one. It's an admirable one. But I had listened to a podcast that he was on, recommended by my brother's girlfriend. And he was talking about these remarkable people because he's trained, some of the best, the highest performing athletes in the NBA, so in the sport of basketball, but also that ended up carrying over to him, coaching, CEOs, executives, different, athletes in different sports, you name it. And, he's taken the time to codify and to record best practices and kind of, share, condense those down and then share them with the world. And one concept he was talking about was, hey, he went against this idea of balance, right? So it's a culturally popular thing to talk about balance, whether it's, work-life balance or whatever it is. And he basically says that, hey, these remarkable people, these high-performing individuals, they go very imbalanced. They double down on their priority. So they'll be very singular focused, right? And it'll be maybe seasonal or chapters of their life where, hey, when they're at their peak, when they're, at the top of their sport, they're letting other things take a back seat, whether it's their business ventures or family responsibilities. These things take a back seat, and they are not the best at those things. They just focus on, the single thing in front of them. And then when that season ends, when that chapter of their life closes, they'll shift their focus, and they will then be the best at whatever it is they set their mind to next. So whether they decide, they're going to be the best family man or the best businessman, they will then let other things take a backseat and double down on that effort and be, kind of take on the singular focus. And I remember hearing this and it was resonating with me. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But I was feeling like, man, I don't know if I have a singular focus that I'm ready to prioritize. Like I was, playing with all these different hobbies and kind of have, different interests, but, business priorities and, looking to earn more of an income, all these competing priorities, and still maintain a healthy, newlywed marriage. So all these competing priorities, and going, I can't see one, one isn't becoming a clear, single focus that I want to double down on. And so it occurred to me, I thought, awesome. Then I will go the exact opposite of his advice. I will go ham in every which direction. I'll just go like a crazy banshee and run all over the place like a chicken with my head cut off, with zero focus, but go hard in as many different areas as I can. And then hopefully either I'll just start to, sharpen who I am in a bunch of different areas, or eventually different areas will start to give, and it'll become clear what I would like to make a priority, right? So this was, something that I think I've been on that frequency now for a few months, since I listened to that. And while it's easy to, to slip back into complacency or to lethargy, or, lethargic behavior, whatever you want to call it, I think overall, since then, it's given myself enough different things to strive towards that I definitely am feeling like I'm in a better place than the alternative, right? And so, I've gotten the weightlifting going. I'm feeling consistent in my jiu-jitsu. I'm, working on our, relationship, looking for new ways to build my earning potential, and also sticking to some of those intellectual endeavors, like, these different subject matters and books that I've picked up, trying to continue to chip away at those. So I guess this maybe all sounds kind of lame and kind of like I'm trying to pat myself on the back, and who knows, maybe I am, maybe I am just trying to gas myself up a little bit, make myself feel good. But I guess the point that I'm getting at is I'm just enjoying, at least feeling like I'm in first gear rather than in neutral or reverse, or that I'm just parked. I'm feeling like I'm in first gear. I'm feeling like I'm moving, and it's again, it feels like, hey, it's just a matter of time before it continues to, create opportunities, or just continue to build momentum and feel fulfilled in whatever it is that I'm up to. So that's my rant for the evening. It starts with jiu-jitsu, but it ends with this idea of just going kind of ham in what, whatever is right in front of me. And so those things are changing. And so again, I'm super young. I'm a young guy. I feel like I got my whole life ahead of me still. I feel like I got plenty of time to figure it out. And I'm fortunate for, all the blessings in my life, from having, great parenting and a loving family growing up, to, tons of opportunity in the environment that I grew up in, and fortunate for the early beautiful life experiences and people that I've got to associate with already up to this point. And so it's like, I've clocked some good miles so far. But man, I was listening to Jocko's podcast today, and the episode with Admiral William McGraven, which was just incredible. That guy is a sharp guy. And at the end, they always, so they let the Admiral go, and they always do ads at the end. It's Jocko and Echo, and they kind of do a little bit of a spiel as they're working their way into the ads and the promotional portion of the podcast. And they always kind of hype it up. Hey, we're getting on a path. We're doing this or that. And one thing that Echo said, in the way he said it, where he was saying, God, and he was relating it back to something that the Admiral was saying. It was this idea. So the Admiral was saying that later in his career, he had a young guy said, hey, he had just gotten back from a parachute injury, and he was on a run with the team, and he was falling behind, but he was just gutting his way through it and experiencing pain, but finishing this run. And one of the young guys goes, yo, Admiral, what are you, or Colonel, or whatever he was at the time, what are you doing out here? You got nothing to prove. And he contemplated on it and responded, or at least thought, you're dead wrong. I have, every day I have something to prove, right? So no matter where you get, just maintaining this mentality of that you have something to prove. And so Echo kind of brought that into the ads at the end and was just saying, hey, those people who they've done good things, they've done something good, they've done something admirable, or remarkable. They've checked some boxes up to a certain point in life, and then they're comfortable to ride that wave, right? And they're comfortable to point back to that thing they did, or that one thing that they did, and go, hey, this is what I accomplished, right? And so, and that goes to another thing, man. Ray Dalio talks about that. He talks about the 3 different stages of life, which is the first stage, you're relying on other people. You're young, you're being raised, you're going through school, you're dependent upon other people. And then in the second phase of life, that's the main bulk of your working career. You then become, you provide for your own self, and you're striving to earn a living and make a place for yourself in the world, and grow and kind of create a path for yourself. And then in the third stage of life, which is what he says he's in, you're kind of looking back. You've accomplished your achievements, and now you're in a place where you're trying to give back. You've built wealth, you've built knowledge, you've built skills, you've built organizations like Ray Dalio did, and now you're turning around and trying to share that knowledge. You're trying to be a wealth of knowledge, and be generous with every aspect of your life and your time and your wealth. And so, but one thing he talks about, and this just sticks with me, is this idea that some people experience a lot of early success and admiration and recognition during that first stage of their life, right? Whether it's they get into a good school, or they earn some medals early on in their life, and it's some achievements that earn them recognition, and that makes them comfortable to where in the second phase of their life, they don't have that hunger, they don't have that strive, or that drive to, really capitalize on the second portion of your life. So these are those people that you see that are highly capable people, but that just sort of stagnate in the second portion of life. And this is something I'm hypersensitive to, because I feel good about what I did in the first stage of my life. I'm happy with how it went, and I feel like, there were certain things that I felt comfortable to pat myself on the back about, but I'm just like paranoid that I will be complacent, and that I will not blow that out of the water in the second stage of my life, that I will not just crush that and exceed that and have people go, wow, the first stage was just a warm up to the second stage. And to be honest, being in the second stage, I don't feel like I'm there yet. I don't feel like I'm like a dog on the bone with, just having, the hill that I know I need to climb right in front of me, where I'm able to just sprint, just drive my legs and drive. And so I don't want to slip. I don't want to go, okay, well, I don't see the hill in front of me, so I'm just going to take a seat, just chill on this rock since I don't see the hill. So that's what this project is about. That's what some of these other activities are about, is trying to just continue to stoke that fire, so that once I, as I continue to search and travel along, once I find that hill, that I'm ready to just blast up it and sprint away, push that rock up like Sisyphus, and then let it roll back down and push it back up again, and then let it roll down and push it back up. So there we go. Got a little bit of fire in the belly going tonight, which I don't know if I typically do on this series. But yeah, there you go. Getting a little fired up after a good evening of jiu-jitsu and talking about where we're going next. So I appreciate every single person who tunes into this little project I'm working on, and I hope you guys are all having a beautiful, productive week and summer, and have some fun, relaxing things lined up for the weekend. So with all that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.